Okay, I'm Kyle Townsend, and today we're going to discuss a network design for Roadrunner Data Services. This, of course, is an extension of your current network. It'll actually be a physical building located near the headquarters. We're going to take a look at your departmental structure, your applications and requirements in those departments. We're going to take a look at some logical designs we've thought up, some hardware comparisons. We're going to select those hardware features and implement them into the logical design, as well as do a physical design. We're going to cover some security topics, as well as some other implementations of addressing and routing. Okay, just as kind of a side note, we will also discuss some budget and scheduling at the end of this discussion as well. This is sort of a structure of your organization and a little bit about what you guys do, because it's important that we understand how your business runs in order to build your network for you. From what we understand, that you are an internal data core operations for financial and crediting services. This means you do anything from data processing to storage to email, as well as ISP services for companies like banks, credit unions, etc. This is also contains sort of your what we understand as your departmental and supervisoral structure. You can see that you have this 7 different departments. Each have a junior and senior VP who report to the president and CEO, and then to the board of directors. Okay, in this slide we're going to cover some departmental functions. We have to note that only a couple of the departments will be in the new infrastructure, so those are really the only things we really need to take into consideration as each department operates individually. First off, network operations, as you can see there at the bottom, will be in the new structure, and they handle, basic network operations and network-based applications used for all the clients. Systems development will be another one. It is actually split into systems and software development. It will be in the new building, and they design and test new systems and software for banks as well as internal use. Customer service, of course, will be in the new building because people can call the new building and they will need a customer service. It's pretty basic as to what they do. And then Datacom will also be in the new building, and they handle all data communications between sites and our headquarters. And they also host data flow and email services as well. Okay, here we have the existing logical network. Note that this is not physical. This is just sort of a logical layout of how that your organization functions as of today. You have of course, the internet cloud that comes in. You have an IPS-IDS firewall before it hits this internal router, in which case you have this DMZ for your POP server, your BlackBerry Enterprise server, your DNS, and your DHCP. From there, it hits another firewall, and then goes to another router where you have your web server and your proxy located, as well as your Active Directory server, which hosts your clients. That router also branches to another firewall, which protects your data server farm. So this is just sort of a logical network as it is laid out right now. Okay, now we're going to get into some of the current problems that you guys are having and why that you need this new network implementation. The problems actually are best expressed, as we understand them, as an expansion. You guys want a new space where not only just for physical location of employees, but also you need a little bit more storage, as well as you would like to implement more backups for some of the systems that you currently have that are being backed up, physically in a backup server, but there is actually not a duplicate should that one go down. So we're just trying to fix some of these inadequacies with storage space and then backups of your current existing network. So there's not an extreme problem with the current existing network that you have, but you're having some trouble. You would just like to have those backups implemented just in case one goes down, as well as the physical room. Okay, now we can get into some of the project goals that we have for this project. Of course, they correlate directly to the problems that we were discussing in the previous slide. Our goal is to alleviate both the storage and physical space problems, along with those backups that you're having some troubles with. And along with that, we're going to include even the physical building of the actual location that will be located into the headquarters. So we're going to sort of discuss the whole project as even from the building of the building to every network hardware piece, to how they're configured, and what we're concerned with applications and implementing this new network, or network extension rather, into your existing network to alleviate all those previous problems that we discussed in the earlier slide. Okay, now we can take a look at some of the application requirements that your organization has. These are a list of the applications that your organization needs and their priority within the organization. So we can see that you have your mission critical applications, which is all your in-house proprietary software. This includes ATM softwares, all in-house software that you create, including data management, handling databases, and like I said, the ATM services that you provide. Then, of course, the Cisco VoIP network is critical, because obviously you need to be able to communicate within the organization. And then your DNS, of course, is vital in order to function out on the web. Then you have some of your rate critical, which these are applications that are critical in the sense that their data rates are a little bit more important than some of the others. Of course, you have your basic web browsers. Then you have your BlackBerry Enterprise software, which is rate critical due to it has to be current and up to date, so that the user end phones are up to date as well, because that is what the Enterprise server does. And then you have some other basic programming, antivirus, Adobe Reader, some of the basic network stuff, which is also rate critical, and then stuff that needs to be real time, like Active Directory and Remote Desktop. And you can see their RMA priority, how much they need to be up, and then the delay also, as we see it in the current. And here we have just a little continuation of application requirements. These are application requirements sort of departmentalized. So we can see which departments need to have access to which of these applications. Of course, the ones that are starred require that application for that particular department. And this is just sort of a breakdown, so we can get a good idea of which departments that are going to be on our new existing network will need which applications. And this gives a good indicator of how we need to trace applications and manage flows within our new existing network. Here we have device requirements, and what these are the new implementations of proposed devices that meet your requirements on more of a hardware standpoint than an application standpoint. As you can see, we have two selected servers. One server is actually more of a powerhouse used for processing and backup, and the other server is just going to be used more for a data farm for that storage that we were talking about earlier. And then, of course, we have the Dell Precision T1500, which is the proposed system that we feel meets all your needs for all of your employees, because those will actually be the host machines that your employees will use, and we feel that they contain all of the device requirements necessary to function. And then, of course, we have the Cisco 2901 ISR, which is an integrated services router that we're going to implement to be the core of your network. Okay, what we have here, this is a breakdown into three different groups. We're sectioning the network as far as access, core, and distribution. Now, what this means is most of your hosts, all of your hosts, which means your employees, are broken into the access groups. You can see over in customer service, datacom, development, and network operations that they're accessed because they are actually accessing those servers. Then you have the distribution, which are server-based groups. You can see even the backups and the storage servers are all distribution, because they're not actually host/client-based machines. They can strictly do distribution to the access groups. And then you have the core of the network, which is where all your central data flows through, which later on we'll discover hardware-specific network architecture. Okay, now here's a look at the routing and addressing of the network. You can